Oh, one more thing I should do is I need to still recording here. I'm just got to make sure I have this at the end of the video for sure.
Yeah.
We need to remind people that depths, it does need to go. If you don't know, if you think maybe it doesn't, Ryan Miles made a really awesome video that's very easy to understand and really give you some perspective of card design and really just the problem that depths is presenting to the game. Make sure you go check that video out, and you'll find out. You'll find out sooner or later. Hopefully maybe if you don't know yet, maybe you'll never find out because they'll just ban it. And we'll be good to go.
There's an alternative. You could play more than 3 games against a deck that runs Netherworld depths. You'll quickly come to the same conclusion.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The thing that actually in the Cosmic interview, this was the thing that you were talking about your play testing, and you mentioned how like you guys got onto the topic of depths. And you mentioned how you guys were testing all the different decks and everything, because I know you guys are the grinders. You're getting all of the tests in, and you came to the conclusion when you were playing against a deck that had depths. If they played depths, you realized that if you didn't answer it, like it didn't actually let you understand if that deck was better than your deck. So you guys started testing where when the other person played depths, then the other person searched their deck for Burning Force and basically used it like that was their top deck for the turn or whatever. It was like, I'll just search my deck for Burning Force, kill it, and then we can actually find out if my deck still beats your deck. And
that was literally where we were at. Yeah, 100%.
That's just such a crazy thing to have to do to understand if your deck is better.
Yeah, it was wild, especially testing into Pterosaur. Like, Pterosaur was the deck that, like, should have it the most. So, like, absolutely, like, you should always have it as Pterosaur. And then, like, it would just be a very frank matter of fact, like, turn 1, turn 2, like, don't have it, up, search for it, okay, yep, put this card back, all right, yep, put it in the trash. Depths again, don't have it, okay, up, search for it, yep.
And then just see what the game turns out to be if that's what happens, because you're trying to figure out, you're like, will I win if I don't have depths? Like, stick. Because like you've basically come to the conclusion like, well, yeah,
if depth 6 you win.
You win. You already know that. So you have to figure out in the testing if you win without it. Oh, that's so crazy.
The only 2 game states where depths doesn't win are where you draw dead with depths. I guess there's 3. You draw dead with depths. They have Burning Force for depths, or they have their own depths.
Yes.
Those are the only 3 equalizing factors.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, at this point, you know, it's wild that the card even has a level 2.
And the level 2 is insane too.
The level 2 is cracked, and actually I have to say the level 2 is the part I'm really gonna miss. I really wish they would split the card, because I really do value the level 2, to be honest. I wish there was like a different version of the card they could bring back for the level 2, because I think that is the one big loss we're gonna get. I think all the other purple cards, all the other purple Nexus will be able to facilitate draw. But,
yeah, I was looking forward to be able to do some tricks with like Ant Strike Back, where like my opponent attacks, I block, I summon like 2 ants, and then I have depths at level 3 and attack in with 2 trash ants that just basically have curse now. Like, but you know, I'm sacrificing that for the better of the game. For depths, it's time for you to go to the depths. You know?
And what's sad is that like both of us as purple players, we're happy to play depths on 2 and win the game. Like I'm happy to do it. I'll keep doing it.
It feels good for me. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is my deck. Like I'm gonna play depths and I'm gonna win. But like I'm happy to gut my own deck to make the format better. And I realized that like this is one of the stupidest mechanics ever. I truly don't know why I'm advantaged for my opponent attacking into me and playing the game.
Yeah.
When I'm doing nothing skillful and they're literally potentially losing the game from what I draw.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around how attacking me in an advantage game state is disadvantage, because the card breaks the rules so much. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I was just playing it local, so obviously it wasn't the biggest deal, but literally just this past Monday, I was playing my like kind of I don't know if I want to call it's basically like an aggro Beldegor deck, but it plays 4 Netherworld depths in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
and my opponent was playing full power Axebiter Durham Dyna deck, and I opened up clunky where I had some spells and I just had like Beldegor and I could think like a Leaf Wolf and that's it. And I think I got to attack in with my Beldegor one or two times, and then they played Depths. And then I was like, and then I was bricked, and I didn't draw Burning Force, or no, actually I did draw Burning Force, killed it. Then they played another Depths.
Sad.
And then I was like, oh dang. And then I was like, okay, well I'm not gonna attack this turn. I hope I'll draw another spirit, and then I can maybe have like 3 spirits because they're already a little bit low. And then maybe I'll be able to go in next turn because it seemed like they were kind of bricked a little bit too. But then they played a second Depths on top of it. And so like that's 3 Depths. And I was like, well, I think I gave it like one more turn after that. And then I just had to, I was like, they had like just 1 or 2 spirits. And I was like, I have to just start going. And I think at the beginning of that turn, my opponent had 3 cards in their hand. And at the end of that turn, they had 14 cards in their hand. And I almost got to kill them, but then it was just so incredibly over after that. Like, cause like I think I killed an elephant through it too. Like I had like it was just the worst thing. It was so
yeah, we just don't need it anymore.
Yeah, because I think I Thorn Prisoned and I attacked, and then they used suppression on the elephant, and then I had to deadly balance because I'm like, I have to kill you. And then they just had like, I think they had like one more thing and they stopped my Leaf Wolf coming in or whatever. And it was just too hard after that. And then it's Aegis, and then it's, another Ice Shield. And then I have 13 other cards in my hand.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking more to the fact of Axebiter, because we all know Depths should be banned. It's like, I think from a community perspective, it is rough when a lot of people who played against the deck, tilt and leave the game. So I mean, I don't think necessarily that limiting it to 1 is a negative thing. I think that's a potential thing. I think that players identify Axebiter as the toxic thing in the game, and it is toxic, and it does limit deck building, and it does a lot of things. I think the more complicated argument is we necessarily conflate Depths and Axebiter because they're in the same deck. We don't necessarily know how Axebiter will function without Depths, so we need to wait for that for sure. Really, it was 0 drops and Depths that made the deck crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a community standpoint of all the players who've left the game because of Axebiter, I think that that's a good enough reason to consider limiting it to 1. But I can also see them wanting to take a little bit longer and monitor the card without Depths.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't as much of an issue as we think. It's a tough call.
To start out,
really is.
Yeah, to start out, I would honestly, I mean, if there's any shot anybody from Bandai gets to hear any of the words any of us say, I mean, if they at least just ban Depths, I think that's a really great starting point. Especially if they're willing to ban Depths before the Pro Tour this season. That would be really awesome because I think with the early life of card games, sometimes there needs to be some consideration for some fast changes that need to happen sometimes. And I think that Depths really is that problematic of a card. I historically in card games am a person who enjoys playing cards that make my opponent not be able to play cards or play the game. So when I first saw Axebiter, I was like, oh, that card is sick. And I was excited to play it. And it was like actually okay for a little bit until everybody did ultimately realize, wow, you just put 4 Depths in this deck and what can they do? And so I think that even if Axebiter gets to stay at 4, even going into set 3, and maybe stays at 4 through set 3, it depends on what we get in set 3 and what can happen there too, of course. I think it might be okay for Axebiter to be at 4, though I would still prefer it going to 1.
I think I'd always prefer going to 1, but I also just do have to be fair. Like, we just haven't had enough testing with the card. Post Depths.
Yeah.
However, from a community standpoint and to some extent also a deck building standpoint and just toxicity. It would be nice to see it go, but at the same time, like, it probably makes the most sense to ban depths, wait it out, see where it's at. We've obviously had depths on the radar for a lot longer, so we've known that's a problem, and I think we should tackle that first, handle it one at a time, and see how it pans out. I think that's the most mature thing to do.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to our rant on depths right here in this extended part 2 of this interview. Oh, that's so good. Yes, ban depths, ban Netherworld depths. Thank you.